Welcome to the PaynePoints Podcast. We enjoy telling the stories of everyday people, whether that be small business owners, entrepreneurs, or people with a passion for their community. We want to highlight them and give them a platform to share their story. So grab your favorite beverage and join us on today's episode where we tell the story of someone just like you. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. I am your host, Sarah Harbuck, and joining me as the co-host filling in for Kristen is our producer, Megan Harbuck. How's it going, Megan?
Pretty good. Good morning, everyone.
Good deal. So today we have Jose Ortega.
Hello, everybody.
Thanks for coming in and sitting with us.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
We haven't done this in a couple weeks, and so I'm feeling a little bit like a giraffe, trying to dance, newly born, just like real awkward with everything right now. So y'all bear with me.
For sure.
So Jose, tell us a little about yourself and your family business.
Okay, so my name is Jose Steven Ortega. I'm 25, and in 2017, I became owner of Ortega's Automotive LLC here in Lufkin. It's a used car lot. I run it with my mom and dad, and my family also owns Rodeo Disko nightclub here in Lufkin as well.
So big time entrepreneurs, it sounds like.
Yes, I would say so.
So what led you guys into car sales? Because we've never actually had anybody on the podcast in that industry. So this will be new and interesting. So what drove you guys into that business?
Well,
haha, pun intended.
Oh, I just got it. Well, my family has always been in the car business. My uncle, his name is Antonio, he started it first, and then my dad kind of followed suit because he saw that it was a really good opportunity, to provide for his family. He bought his first truck. It was a 2004 maroon Dodge Ram. And he actually sold that to my other uncle on my mom's side. And he bought that with $1,500 that he had saved from working at Pilgrim's Pride.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So it just kind of all started and snowballed from there, huh?
Yeah. And, when I was younger, I would always be washing cars. And I didn't understand why we had so many cars and not drive them. Like, there would be random, just trucks, sedans. Yeah. And I would always be washing them, and I just wouldn't understand why we never drove them. We always drove the same exact little blue car and the little red truck, but we always had all these other cars that we could drive, but we never did. And when I got into high school is when I understood, oh, wait, my parents, they're selling cars. They have a little used car lot.
That's interesting, because I would think at a child's mind, you have all these different cars, and you don't ever drive them. What must go through a kid's mind when their parents own a business that they don't quite understand what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
That's cool. So it sounds like you have a really close-knit family. Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have 2 sisters. My youngest sister is about to be 15. Her quinceañera is coming up. And then I have a older sister who's 21. Youngest one, his name is Lindsay, and the older one, his name is Susan.
Okay, cool.
I do want to point out, Jose and I have known each other for, it's 2021. I started working at Standpipe in 2014. We've known each other for 7 years because he used to be a regular at the Standpipe Coffee House, and I worked there, and we've gone to concerts together, and we've been longtime friends. So it's exciting for me to have him on the podcast.
Good deal. Well, welcome.
Again, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm a big fan. Over the past 2 weeks, I've become such a huge stan.
Yeah, he says he was binge listening to all of our podcasts, and I was like, you poor thing. But thank you for the support. We appreciate it. Did you grow up here in East Texas, or did y'all move here?
Well, my mom and dad are both from Mexico. My dad is from Zacatecas, and my mother is from El Distrito Federal, which is the capital of Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I was born in Nacogdoches, and I was raised here in Lufkin.
Okay, cool.
That's awesome.
So, first generation American, huh?
Yeah, actually.
That's awesome. That's cool. Growing up, do y'all ever go back to Mexico and visit family there, or is everybody kind of migrated up here and is living in the Texas area, or?
Yeah, a majority of our family is here in Texas, here in Lufkin, actually.
Oh, awesome.
My dad has gone back once, back like in the early 2000s, and I also went once when I was like 9. And funny story about that, when I did go, I started crying.
Oh wow.
Like 5 minutes after we left the house, just because I'm a big mama's boy, and being away from my mom for so long, I guess it got to me, and I just remember started bawling, and they still took me though.
And when you're a kid, that going that far away just seems like you're going halfway around the world, I'm sure. So
yeah,
that'd be fun.
I'm actually really curious. So it was in high school when you realized, oh, we have all these cars for our used car business. Was that, what did you want to do when you were in school? What did you want to be when you grow up? Like, did you always anticipate that you would, work for the family business, or what was that like for you?
Yeah.
I think in the back of my head, I always knew that I could fall back on the family business. I know my dad has always told me that this is going to be for you and your family and the future generations, But I think when I was in high school, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I know that I had a passion for, like, talking to people and, helping people. And I feel like with the car business now, the way, like, I'm running it and the path that we're going down, I feel like that's exactly what I'm doing. We have a lot of low income families that come into the lot and say, like, oh, we're really struggling, but we really need a vehicle to get around. And that's where I come in and say, okay, look, this is what we can do. This is this car. It's a really nice car. I see you have kids. I feel like this would be a really good fit for you, and we get the ball rolling on that. And we always help them out, and I really enjoy that.
Brand new cars are so expensive. Like, blows my mind from the time that I started driving back in the mid 90s and what a brand new car cost versus today, and the exponential difference. And then just to think, I mean, car payments are practically a mortgage payment these days with these brand new cars. So having a used car lot, especially now, there's something I've noticed driving around town, that most of the car dealerships are empty. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. They have no cars on the lot hardly, and I was like, what is going on? Apparently there's like a big parts shortage, and so they're not being able to manufacture new cars. So I'm guessing a used car is a hot commodity right now. Are y'all noticing an uptick in business because of that, or?
Yeah, I definitely have to agree, especially because we buy most of our used cars from auction places. The big one that we always go to is Copart Auto Auctions. We actually have a facility here, and there's one in Longview and Shreveport, and I think we noticed a rise in those prices around October of last year. We noticed that the cars that we would usually buy for, we can just say like $3,000, $3,500, were now costing us like closer to $5,000.
Wow,
which is pretty big. And it's true, there is a computer chip shortage for used cars, or not used cars, for new cars, because a lot of the new cars now
all run off of computer.
All are run off of computers. A lot of electronics in these new cars.
Yeah, I mean, mine would be, if the computer went crazy, I wouldn't be able to drive my car. There's something to be said. My husband has a 1979 Ford F100 pickup from 1979, and it's all metal, all original parts, and there's no computer running it, so you'd be good. But yeah, it was very interesting to see all these car lots completely empty, but the used car lots were not. And so I was curious how that has, but I imagine because now there's such a demand for cars because of the shortage, it's affecting y'all's prices too. So that's always an issue when it comes to owning a small business, and you want to help the community who can't afford brand new car prices, but then used car prices are going up because new cars aren't being manufactured because there's a shortage in computer chips. It's just a vicious cycle.
What does a normal day of work for you look like?
So we open the lot at 10 in the morning, so I'll usually get there probably like around 10:30. I usually like to have breakfast at the house and go grab my coffee. I'll come in. Usually there's a thing or like a little list of things that we have to do. During the winter, sometimes we like to start the cars in the morning when it gets really cold, and really just kind of what we have on the agenda. Recently now, I've been having to leave town 2 or 3 times a week to either drive to like those Copart facilities in Longview or Shreveport to pick up the cars that we have purchased, or go to Houston and purchase parts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, purchase parts.
Do you guys do auto repair there as well? Or
Yes, we do. We own our own body shop. It's actually, we've had it for a while. It's we only have one guy working there right now, but he's awesome. Shout out to Carlos.
Good deal. So it's like a full service. Buy a car, get your car worked on, get your outside fixed, and
yeah. And recently as well, I've had a lot of my friends message me and be like, hey, like I got a little fender bender, or like I need this replaced. How much would this cost, and all that. So
you're completely running the car lot, but your family also owns another business.
Yes.
My uncles, Antonio and his wife Adriana, and my mom and dad. My dad's name is Jose Luis, and my mom's name is Susanna. They own the Rodeo Disko nightclub here in Lufkin.
Very cool. So you've got a car dealership and a nightclub. Now, those are two polar opposite businesses. How do you guys shift between the two and, make them both run efficiently? Is there a system, or is it just sort of fly by the seat of your pants?
I would like to say there is kind of a system.
Yeah.
The car lot, I guess you could say, is a job, because, it's what we get most of our income from. And the nightclub is definitely a passion, especially for my father. My father is a huge musician, and he's always wanted to do something big with his band. And actually, he had been promoting for the other clubs around here, El Castillo, which is going towards NAC.
Yeah,
that's a nightclub. And then El Caliente Club is another one a little farther down.
Yeah,
he would actually book bands to go play at those venues.
That's super cool. So do you have any like experience with running the nightclub yourself, or are you speaking on behalf of your family for the Rodeo Disko?
I have a little bit of experience working there.
Sure.
Not a lot, just because the club is such a well-oiled machine right now. I don't want to throw a monkey wrench in there.
For sure.
But another funny story about the club. Back in the earlier days, the club used to do like a country night and a hip-hop night.
Sure.
And my dad was trying to find country bands to come and perform at the club on those nights. And I actually took initiative. I was like, hey, you know what? Do you guys know who Luke Combs is?
Mm-hmm.
And I asked my dad, I was like, do you know who Luke Combs is? Because this was right when Luke Combs was
like before he blew up.
Yes, his single Hurricane was just starting to pick up steam.
Okay. And
I actually emailed his agency, and I gave him the details. I was like, look, we're a local nightclub here in Lufkin, Texas. Yada yada yada. Like, we would like to book him for a Thursday night show. And they sent me back this sheet that I had no idea what anything meant on there. They were like, what's your budget? Bunch of technical terms that I didn't know what they meant. And I got cold feet, and I didn't email them back.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so
it was probably like the contract and writer, like things that they, require for their artists to come and perform somewhere. Yeah, that can be kind of overwhelming. When we had the coffee shop and we were booking bands for our little festivals and stuff, that was a thing that we had to deal with as well. So it can be very nerve-wracking. You guys are running two businesses. What do you do individually or as a family to kind of start your week or your days off, ready to, tackle all of life's challenges? So you have any habits? I mean, you said you like to start with breakfast and coffee. Is there anything else?
Well, I know for sure my parents, they do you guys know what Herbalife is? They get that every morning. They've been doing that stuff for years, but they do that. And my aunt and uncle, they're actually they're always on a mission. Whenever I don't see them a lot at the office, but when they come in, they get so much stuff done in the little amount of time that they're there. With me and my mom and dad, we're there pretty much all day, but my aunt and uncle, they just come in and they do what they got to do. They move on to the next thing, finish that, and then they're gone doing something else because, they also have other businesses besides the car lot. And I should also say that there are two dealerships at the location where we're at right now.
Okay.
You have me and my mom and dad's business, Ortega's Automotive, and then you also have El Cañon Auto Sales.
Right.
And they've been there from the very beginning.
Okay.
How Kenyon has.
So y'all kind of like team up, share space.
Yeah, for sure. That. And it's really cool because, you know, we each have our own preferences of what cars we like to buy. Like my uncle and El Cañon, they like to buy like domestic brands like Chevrolets and even Kias and stuff like that. And then on our side, we like to buy like Dodge and more foreign like Honda, Toyota. So if somebody comes in and they say, oh, I'm looking for a Kia, we're like, oh, look, check this out. You know, El Cañon has the perfect car for you. Or we have somebody that comes in and is like, oh, I'm really looking to get a little Civic. Like, oh, look over here, Ortega's Automotive has this nice, cute little Civic for you.
Well, it's good that you guys have like different styles.
A symbiotic relationship, it seems like.
Definitely. When you guys go to these auctions to buy these cars, what do you all look for to make sure you're getting a relatively good quality vehicle that will last the next family who uses it, you know, several years, so that they're not having to purchase new cars all the time?
So there's the facility here in Lufkin, my dad goes to every now and then, and he checks the cars out before he bids on them online, because a lot of the auctions are online now. So he's probably doing that right now. The auctions are at 12. They start at 12 p.m. for Lufkin, and he sits down in front of the computer, and he has a list that he either has been looking at or he went to go check them out himself. And every now and then I'll slip in and be like, hey, look, there's this car right here. I don't know if you noticed it, but it's got low mileage. It looks good. And the cool thing about the Copart auto auction is that it'll tell you like what the specifications of the car, like the mileage, the VIN number, the color, what kind of motor it has, what kind of damage it has, if any, and also if it starts. One of the big things that we look for is if the car runs and drives, because with Copart, they have it to where they can say it runs and drive, but to them that only means that it starts and it moves forward and backward by its own power. So that's a big thing that we have to check to see if it runs and drives. We have to go check it out and see if it'll actually run or if it's just gonna move forward and backward. Because if we get a car that just runs forward and backward and that's all it does, you know, that's a big loss.
Yeah, you'd have to spend a lot of money getting it fixed, I'd imagine. Are there any types of vehicles that you guys just try to avoid altogether?
I think
any particular makes or models or that you can share industry secrets with us?
I would say probably I think, in my opinion, we've had less trouble with European cars.
Really?
Yeah. Like, no, wait, I'm sorry. We've had more issues with European cars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We've had less problems with Japanese cars and Asian cars.
Yeah.
Hondas, I love Hondas. Hondas are great.
Yeah.
I'm a Hyundai lady.
Hyundais are good too, though. I like Hyundais.
I have a Kia.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a big fan of the Veloster.
Yeah, I have a 2019 Hyundai Veloster. Yeah.
Oh, that's how you say it?
Yeah. Well, I think so. That's how I've heard it said.
But
yeah,
who knows? Yeah.
I mean, they're cars, and there's
they
like
get
a million different ways to say. So, are there like any particular cars that you're like a huge fan of buying? Like when you see one on the auction, you're like, oh yeah, I gotta get this one.
Probably Honda Accords.
Really?
Or the newer model Dodge Rams.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know in the past Dodge Rams used to get a bad rap for saying that their maintenancing was bad and they had transmission issues or they had bad motors, but I think the newer models like 2014 and newer are really good trucks, you know. Good. And this is coming from somebody that owns one. I have a 2016 1500 and it's a tank. Like I use it to pick up the cars. Whenever I have the bed attached and everything, I barely feel it.
Yeah.
Feel I'm telling you,
I do miss having a big car. I have a little sedan now, but I used to have a Dodge Durango, and it's basically like a truck that's enclosed, and I do miss having all that space, but I can't really justify driving a big old car when it's just me.
Right, yeah.
And I'm not hauling anything, so do you have any hobbies or anything that you do to unwind from your very busy work schedule?
Oh yeah, for sure. Right now, usually when I come home, I'll like hang out with Crystal or
his wonderful fiance.
Yes, my wonderful, beautiful fiance. We just like chill in the living room. I've been reading a lot of manga recently.
Okay.
either do that or listen to music or play video games.
Jose and I are big K-pop fans.
Yeah,
That's how we know each other.
Okay.
Very
Good
big
deal.
K-pop fans.
We went together, but we were sitting in different places. BTS and Red Velvet.
We were also at Monster X.
Right. The one in Houston.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
so it was this Crystal and Jose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think I have another?
I don't know. You have so many friends. It's hard to tell sometimes.
We have a lot of matching interests, is what I'm trying to say.
Good deal.
So,
awesome.
do you guys do anything as a family to unwind? Like, do you guys do
Camping.
different? Yeah, we had one family say that they did a lot of camping, family parties and barbecues.
I know they like to get together every weekend, Sundays. They'll get together where the body shop is, because the body shop is on a big patch of land. I think it's 14 acres.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they have this little, I guess you can say it's a picnic area around there where they all get together and we'll barbecue and stuff. And I know that's where we always have our big birthdays and holidays is always at the land out there.
That's awesome.
Fun family Sunday. We might need to get invited sometime for all the delicious food.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Is it about time for the rapid fire questions?
It is about time for the rapid fire questions.
All right, Jose, you were not sent preparatory questions for this. This is the part you've listened to our podcast. You probably know this segment. So we're going to ask you real quick different questions. Just answer the first thing that comes off the top of your head. Are you ready?
Yes.
Awesome. What did you have for breakfast?
I had a peanut butter Cliff Bar and black coffee.
How do you take your coffee?
I guess if it's just regular coffee, I like to take it black or with 1 cream or 1 sugar.
Okay. What is your favorite song right now?
That's tough. I'd probably have to say Promise by ATEEZ.
Aw. Are you currently watching a TV show? And if so, which show?
No. Well, yeah, I guess it's a drama that we need to finish, actually. It's Tale of the Nine Tails.
Oh, I've heard of that one. Is it a Korean or Chinese drama?
It's a Korean drama, yeah.
Awesome. What is your favorite book?
Does manga count?
Yes, it does.
I'd probably have to say Made in Abyss. That one's a really good one.
What is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Vanilla.
Coke or Pepsi?
I'm going to say Pepsi, but only because they did that collab with Monster X and ATEEZ.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I wish I liked Pepsi more. Sweet or salty?
Sweet, but I have cavities, so.
Yeah. Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Zodiac sign?
Sagittarius.
Oh, me too. Spring, summer, fall, or winter?
I still have to say winter, even after that huge snowstorm.
Oh my gosh.
Our listeners from not Texas are probably sick of hearing about that.
Yeah.
But why do you love winter?
I despise being hot and sweaty.
That's fair.
It's valid.
Introvert or extrovert?
Definitely extrovert.
Favorite color?
Black.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No, it's a hot dog.
Well, no. Now you need to explain why you don't think about it. It's two
Well,
pieces of bread with stuff in the middle.
But the bread's connected, though.
Okay. So is a hot dog a taco?
Is it a pita?
Oh, snap. I forgot about pita.
Is it a sub? Some subs are connected.
You know what's so funny? I was like, they're going to ask me that hot dog question, and I'm going to be so ready. I was like, nope, it's a hot dog.
What is your favorite social media platform?
Twitter.
Absolutely. I'm always seeing you on Twitter.
I don't understand Twitter.
You liked my tweet last night about Minecraft, but you didn't say if you wanted to play Minecraft with me. A little salty about that.
I was kind of hoping you would message me, like, you want to play Minecraft?
For an extrovert, you're a little bit shy, Jose.
That is true.
This is Gen Z communication, right? You
Yes.
just hope the other person says something to you.
Wait, are you technically a Generation Z if you're 25?
I
You were
have
born
no
in
idea.
96?
95.
95. Okay, so you're turning 26 this year.
Yeah. I am.
Okay. I guess
I
that's
don't- I have no
like
idea what
Zennial, like in between millennial and Gen Z.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't ask me.
You're
I just
Gen
know I'm a
X.
Gen X, and that's it.
There are so many terms now. I don't know where I fall into.
I think that you're like me, a Zennial, where it's like not millennial, but not
Well,
Generation
then I've had
Z
people
fully.
say you're a millennial, and I was like, I was born in the 70s. How's that even possible? But
Yeah,
whatever.
Exactly. Well, thank you for answering our rapid fire questions. That's always a fun segment.
Alrighty. Well, back to the business part of things.
So you became the owner of the car lot in 2017. So you would have been 21?
Yeah.
So what was the first step for you? Had you been working at the car lot beforehand? What was the first step in becoming the owner?
So I started working at the car lot a couple months before I became owner. So the process of getting a dealer's license or wanting to sell cars is obtaining that dealer license. They call it a GDN, which is I think if the term is it's a general distinguishing number. That's probably not right, but the abbreviation is GDN, and you need to obtain that so you can legally purchase vehicles and sell them. Because I think it's as just like a regular person, you're allowed to sell 5 cars a year without a license.
Okay.
But anything after 5, you can't do that. You have to have a license to sell more than 5 cars a year.
Well, there's a lot of paperwork involved because if you're transferring things like titles and what have you, like, did you have to take any sort of, is there like a certification course that you have to do in order to like know how to shift all those things around, or is the car buyer responsible for doing that, or how do you guys do that system?
So the seller is always responsible for transferring the title and all that stuff. So if anybody out there is looking to purchase a vehicle, after you purchase it, make sure you get a bill of sale or you fill the contract out, and always make sure that the seller is gonna do your tax title and registration and stuff. But when I started, it was all just kind of like self-taught. Luckily, one of our title clerk, her name is Edith. She's been there with El Cañón since the very beginning, and she's amazing. She knows everything. She taught me everything about the paperwork and stuff.
It's a nice advantage to have when you've had somebody in the business for such a long time, with both your uncle and your father and the Edith helping you along the way. Yeah. That's good.
Big shout out to Edith for sure.
Good deal. So she helps keep things going on the paper front side, paperwork front. Wow. It's Monday.
It's Monday. We haven't done this in like 3 weeks.
Oh. What would you say is like one of the most challenging things about running a used car dealership?
I would definitely say purchasing quality cars, because now with the prices of used cars being so expensive, I have seen a lot of, especially when I drive to Houston, a lot of the used car dealers there, you can tell that some of the cars are a little more worn down or run down than usual. But that's definitely because it's so difficult to get them right now at a good price or staying within your budget.
Yeah, I imagine it's a little harder to want to take a risk on something that you're not 100% sure about because it's more expensive these days. And then, when you guys purchase a car, do you usually do any kind of like tune-ups or anything like that? Do you like do any, what's the word? What's the thing that you do when you take a car and you get it cleaned? Detailing. Yes.
Ooh,
boy, I couldn't even.
Yeah, for sure. Some of the cars that we buy usually have like a busted bumper or maybe like a busted fender, and
sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine. And we'll fix them. We'll get those patched up, repaint the cars if we have to, check the engine, check the transmission, make sure they're good. Just a pretty thorough quality check. Make sure that the car or the truck is good to go.
Good deal. I think that would be fun to like. I watch these videos where they take cars and they strip everything out of them and they really clean them and like wipe them down and refix things, and it's very satisfying to watch. Probably a lot of work.
Maybe a new advertising opportunity for the car lot. Could be.
Yeah. Put those TikToks on there, like of y'all cleaning things out, because people watch that. I do. I'm a psycho like that. I like watching these cleaning videos where they take it when it's just a giant mess, and then they go through and they vacuum and then they shampoo and then they really wipe down all the stuff and, fix little issues. And then at the end of it, it looks like a brand new car. And you're just like, they're like magic wizard people. So this business has been in your family for a while. Do you have any like favorite memories of growing up around this industry, or just since you've taken over? What is something that you find either really fun or rewarding?
I've had a lot of great memories with the cars. I think my favorite one was probably when I sold my actual first car that I had bought.
Really?
Yeah, it was a 2010 Honda Accord, and I remember selling it. I remember I had driven it for a while because I was using my truck strictly for towing and stuff, and I was like, I really need a car to get around Lufkin and stuff and Houston or whatever. And we had somebody come in that really needed a car. They were like, I really need a nice car. I have kids. And I said, you know what? Check this out. This is a Honda. I've been driving it. Everything works great. I'm willing to sell it to you. That was a really good memory because she was so excited. Her kids were with her, and I just felt really good.
Yeah, we had a Honda Accord when we first got married. It was in 1988, though, so it was a long time ago.
What are some of the biggest achievements that you and your family have made in business, both at the car lots and at Rodeo Disko?
I think I know for sure with the car lot, I think it's just having over 75 active clients coming in and paying us every month.
Wow.
Yeah, because I think we found that out whenever we had to renew the license, and we needed more of the dealer license plates. And one of the not specifications, but one of the things you have to meet to get other dealer license plates is you have to have a certain list of customers coming in and paying you every month. And I think we needed 2 more. We have 3 in total. We needed 2 more, and to get those other 2, we needed to have over 75 active people coming in and paying us. So that was a really huge achievement for us.
So you guys offer financing through the dealership? Okay.
It's owner financing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's where a buy here, pay here lot. And the reason we do that is because that's the easiest way for low-income families to come in and purchase cars from us.
They don't teach you in school how important credit is. I had to kind of learn about that as an adult. And, this is one of the ways that you can build, equity and wealth and different things in your life, and not having the ability to go and get credit, somewhere. So having options like this, I think is helpful for a lot of people, especially when they don't make a certain amount of money, or, they meet all the qualifications that a bank is going to require of them. So.
Yeah, 100%. We have a lot of people come in and saying hey, my credit is shot. I have a repossession on it. I'm late on fees, and I just really need a car to get to work. And a lot of people would think that don't sell them a car. They don't seem like trustworthy people. But I can generally say that those people are the most honest and hardworking people. They never miss a payment. If anything happens, they give us a call. They said, hey, I need an extra week. Usually
what happens in a situation like that, if they have a repossession, is they bought something that they didn't have the income in order to. They bought 2. What is it? My grandmother used to say, you bought with your eyes, instead of your pocketbook. Oh, I really want that, but can you really afford it? And so.
Or it could be a situation where they bought it when they were in a better financial situation, and then they weren't able to make the payments. So yeah.
Or they got laid off on their job. Just a myriad of things, and then you get that ding on your credit, and it's really hard to overcome, especially if they come and repossess a car. So
it's great that y'all give people that opportunity without judging them.
A lot of people wouldn't take that risk, honestly. So that's a big deal.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes me the most proud about El Cañón and Ortega's is that my uncle and my dad, they came from very humble beginnings. When they came here, they had nothing to their name. They were I guess you could say really in the trenches, if that's a good term. And they always said that once they became successful, they would always give back, and help. And to go on to the club side about the biggest achievement, I would definitely say is bringing there's these 2 huge Mexican groups that actually came here to Lufkin. One of them is a norteño band called Los Tigres del Norte, and the other one is Los Temerarios. And between those 2 groups, I think I checked yesterday on Facebook, both of those combined, they have 12 million Facebook followers.
Oh, wow. My goodness.
That's huge.
And they come to your club.
Yeah, they came, and Los Tigres Norte actually came on my birthday in 2017.
Oh, wow.
And Los Temerarios. I remember the day whenever they posted the flyer on Facebook that they had gotten Los Temerarios to come. I did not believe it for a second. There's no way these guys are coming. And then I talked to my dad, and I was like, why did you post that? Like, are they really coming? And he said, yeah, they're gonna be here.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, there's no way, because they're huge. Like, there's this meme, like Mexican meme, that goes like, there's always one band playing every Saturday morning when your mom's cleaning the house. Yeah. And it's either Los Bukis or Los Temerarios. Like, they're like legends of the ballad Mexican music.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
that's
huge.
That's an industry, that particular genre of music, you know, has a huge, very dedicated following. You know, I was in high school when Selena was real popular, and that opened, I didn't know that whole like world existed. You know, I was like 15 at the time, and I would never been exposed to anything other than top 40 hits and, you know, contemporary Christian music and hymns. So when I found out about that world and just how huge it was, you know, it's kind of this untapped market in mainstream, you know, music, because they have such a hardcore, dedicated fan base that, I mean, if somebody was really smart, could really capitalize on like crossover stuff and really kind of like what K-pop has done, and really broken into the American market. You know, the Tejano side of things really could do the same thing, because that's just, it blows my mind just how like popular and like huge these groups are that you've never even heard of, because, you know, all you listen to is K-Fox or something in a local radio station, and then you find out, oh yeah, they've got like 12 million followers and they're huge in Mexico and South America. You know, like it's a big deal. So that's a huge achievement.
I just want to point out that this is very much the reason why we do the PaynePoints podcast, because we as white folk, I didn't know that Rodeo Disko was even a thing. Like, I didn't know that we had a club in Lufkin, or
to be fair, we're not very club people, but
true. But I had never really heard like people talking about it personally from my side of things, and I didn't know that we were having like bands as big as that coming. So I'm really glad and very grateful that you were able to come and highlight that part of the community that is largely, I think, getting overlooked.
Yeah.
Because like what Mom is saying, I mean, I think that if you're not in the top 40 hits, you're probably not going to get a lot of attention from what would you call
mainstream.
it? Mainstream folks.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like you and I, Jose, we like K-pop, but like, is K-pop really well known just out in the field? If you were to go to some random big city, is Tejano, you know, the same way? Like, it has a huge following, but if you went and asked any average Joe on the street, like, hey, do you know what this band is? They'd probably say no, unless they were Hispanic or had Hispanic family or whatever the case may be.
Right, yeah.
So thank you for
course,
highlighting that and that part of the community.
I'd also like to say that like I don't know how my dad does it, because he's like the booking agent and he's a promoter, and like he's brought huge bands, like those two guys, in my opinion, are definitely the biggest. If you were to ask my dad, he would probably say that the biggest group he's ever brought is another Tejano group called Bronco, and they're like another very very old group, but their fan base is incredibly loyal. I remember the first time we brought them here, you know, we were way over capacity whenever they came. Like, everybody wanted to be in there, and I remember I talked to my mom about it, and she said, yeah, we had to turn people away at the door. They said, we cannot fill any more people in here, and people were willing to pay 3 or 4 times over the ticket value just to get in.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that just goes to show right there. I mean, just the voraciousness of the fans. So, yeah, totally uncapitalized market. But the fact that you guys are bringing those people here and locals get to experience that's great. Now, your dad, this is sort of a passion project for him, having the Rodeo Disko.
Yes.
Because you said is a musician. He's also been in some other endeavors. He's been in some movies.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
I think
Dad's famous.
Yeah, when I was younger, I saw him as my dad,
Sure.
And, you know, whenever he would be away doing this stuff, I had no, oh, you actually know what? Funny story. I'm actually in one of these movies.
Really?
Yeah, I just remember that. There's a scene where, so his most popular movie, in my opinion, is kind of like, it's a story about, you know, immigrants crossing over and, you know, the hardships that they have to go through and the dangers they have to go through to get here. And there's a scene in the movie where they come across, you know, like, you know, a really bad scene where just like people are hurt, and I was one of the extras in that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
I just remember that. I think
How many movies has he done?
I think he starred in maybe 6 or 7.
Wow.
But he's worked on a lot, maybe like 15, 16. Either he like funded them or he produced them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and yeah, like when I was younger, I was just like, this is my dad, you know, like, he's not doing anything cool.
Mm-hmm.
He's old.
Don't we all think that, though?
Yeah, but as I've gotten older and I've come to look back on all these things, I'm like my dad's #1 fan now. Like,
Yeah.
I am the president.
Well, you've got a stack of DVDs here,
Yes.
and you've got a CD. So clearly, you know, he's made his mark in that world. What is his best memories from that? Have you talked to him and, like, you know, I mean, obviously that's still ongoing.
Yeah.
If he's still kind of behind the scenes on some of these, but like actually starring in these movies, I mean, that's got to be a fun experience.
For sure. I think as far with the movie side, I think just there's an actor around there that he's a pretty big action star. Yeah, I think he's retired now, but the last couple movies that guy did, my dad was in them with him. I'm pretty sure that was pretty cool for him. And as far as for the music goes, I'd say is, you know, probably appearing on national TV.
Wow.
Yeah. It's on a Mexican TV channel, but I want to say if you go on YouTube and you look for it, you can see it there, and it's him. It's like a morning talk show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he was on there talking about the band and the music.
Did they still tour, or?
Every now and then. My dad's really focused on promoting and
Gotcha.
and honestly, it's probably for the best, because I spoke with my mom about it yesterday, you know, but touring is very demanding on the body.
It's grueling. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, since the pandemic, the music industry's taken a pretty big hit because, you know, for the longest time there, we were all quarantining and social distancing, and there wasn't any public events. There were no concerts. And so that industry has been hit really hard, and it still hasn't come back. And so perhaps he was ahead of his time by not being, you know, full-fledged in that industry, and is doing other things. And now he's one of the promoters and, you know, helping maybe get the music side of things kicked off again. Because we would all like life to go back to normal, I think, or whatever the new normal is, where we're not having to just hide at home and get to experience, you know, these events again.
Right, of course. So my dad's actually not into movies anymore, and the reason he's taken another reason that he's sitting back on this music thing is because of my sister. So my older sister, who is Susan, she is actually epileptic.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, and so his reason for stepping back from a lot of like the big Showtime stuff is, I remember he said that there was one night where he was at the shoot, like at the studio, whatever, they were filming one of his movies, and my sister had actually had a seizure, and it was one of the more serious ones where like they had to take her to the hospital. And my mom called him and said like, hey, we have to take her to the hospital, it's a little more serious this time. And he drove all the way back to Lufkin. I think he was like an hour or 2 hours away. So he drove back to Lufkin, and he got to the hospital, and, you know, just to make sure everything was okay. And he started driving back to the set, and halfway he told himself that he didn't want to do this anymore, that he wanted to be there for his family and my sister, to, you know, provide for us and all that. And ever since then, like he still like talks to like the movie producers and stuff, and they try to get him to come back, but you know, he's a man of honor, you know, big man of honor. And
maybe one day, you know.
Yeah, you know, thank goodness, like my sister, she's good now. She's definitely doing great. So I guess if you wanted to, you know, like that, if you want to do it, you know, you can, man. Like like I'm here for the family now.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really honorable for sure.
You know, your family sounds like they've just got their hands in every pie and doing all these different things, and that's amazing. What do you think all of these different endeavors have taught you and your dad or your mom, or, you know, if you can speak for them, what do you think it's taught you the most about yourself, and then the dynamics of your family? I mean, you were just sharing how your dad stopped something he loved doing to help, you know, be there for your sister. But, you know, are there any other aspects that really stand out for you?
I think, and for me, I think the biggest thing I've learned from doing all this and watching my parents grow is just to like, you know, really stay humble. Like, really make sure that you're not stepping on anybody's toes. And a lot of people say that in order to be really successful is you have to like step on some toes, or but in
Be cutthroat.
But in my dad's case, like, that was never it. My dad always kept his head down, worked hard, and, you know, did what he wanted to do and made sure he did it right. Like, that's one of the biggest thing that he's proud of, is that, you know, there's like stereotypes with successful Hispanics saying like, oh, they're probably doing illegal stuff. And but that's one thing my dad is super proud of, is that I did everything with the sweat of my brow, you know, my blood, sweat, and tears. You know, I worked for this, and you know, through that, he's done everything he's wanted to do in his life. Like, I'm pretty sure he has no regrets with what he's done, and that's definitely my biggest thing, is just to be honorable, remember where you came from, and, you know, you're not better than anybody else.
Integrity is a big deal, and I don't think we make enough of that. You know, having a moral compass and doing things honorably. I also believe that you don't have to step on a million toes and be super cutthroat in order to be successful.
Kindness always wins,
I think
as we
so.
say.
And I think that there's plenty of business for everyone. You know, sometimes I can say, well, there's always all these car dealerships, or all, you know, obviously in a town our size, there's how many? There's dozens, and yet they all seem to be doing just fine. So there's enough business out there for everybody, and you appeal to certain groups and different demographics, and
competition is healthy.
Yeah. So I think that's a great philosophy, is doing things honorably and working hard, and, you know, and getting to do all these experiences that you've talked about, you know, being in movies and being a musician and being a club promoter and a band promoter. I mean, that's a lot of stuff. So, do you have any advice for anybody else that wants to start their own business or go into a family business?
I would definitely say, you know, get educated. You know, with the used car lot, it's a good business, because, you know, everybody's always going to need a car. They're always going to need transportation. Sure. But I always say, go about it the right way. You know, get the proper licenses. You know, don't cut any corners, because the Texas DMV, you know, if you're doing something wrong, they'll know. Oh yeah. And they'll come down on you. And as for the nightclub side, and this is advice from my mom and dad and my family, is I think right now it's probably not the best time to try to open up a nightclub.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With everything going on, definitely.
Yeah, I would imagine that's been a hard struggle for you guys.
It was pretty difficult. The club had to be closed for 6 months, I think, from April to October.
Wow.
And that was pretty difficult, just because even now that, you know, there's no guidelines that you have to abide by here in Texas, some people are still afraid to come out, and you know, big, and rightfully so, you know. Yeah. But slowly but surely, the club is getting back to where it was, and you know, luckily, like, the bands are able to come out and play, and, you know, hope, like, the club is there so people can come and have fun and forget about, you know, the bad stuff.
Yeah. And that's kind of a hard thing to translate into an online experience. So absolutely, it's definitely added an extra obstacle and hurdle to get over. But, you know, you guys are still here. And
that's incredible. An incredible thing to overcome.
So what was the best piece of advice you received when you took over in 2017? Did you?
Yes, the best piece of advice I got was probably from my mom. Because my dad, from my dad, I was always taught, work hard, do all this, like keep your eyes straight, like don't just work very, very hard. And, but from my mom always taught me to be a kind and compassionate person, be very empathetic, because you never know what the other person is going through.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's what I try to do with a lot of the people that come in or that try to buy a car from us. Some of them could be coming in like, yeah, I'm just here to buy a car. And then some people can come in and be like, oh, yeah, I need to buy a car. My life's not doing so right. And, I feel like as somebody that's selling something that's, it is quite expensive to buy a car,
mm-hmm.
You have to make sure that you're going to take care of this person and you're going to have a returning customer and have somebody that's going to talk good about your business. And being kind is definitely a good way to get that respect from other people.
Yeah. There's always that stereotype that car salesmen can be super smarmy, but it sounds like your family, and then just knowing you, like, you guys are, like, incredible.
Very honest people. Having
that work ethic, and then your mother saying, just be kind and empathetic to people, and you never know what they're going through. Like, that's, yeah, when you have a used car lot and you have somebody come in and it's a single mom and she, is working 2 jobs and she needs a reliable vehicle, having someone who is ethically and morally sound to go, okay, let's find you the best, most reliable thing, to get your family here and there. That's a big deal. So
you don't see that very much these days.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like. So
people
thank you for doing that in the community.
Right. And I also like to say that, there are some bad car salesmen out there.
Sure.
But there are also some really good ones too.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely.
What does the future hold for you, your family, and the future of your businesses?
I think for the lot, I would probably say once everything gets back to normal is, just get our full inventory back. Right now, it's really hard to keep our inventory full.
Yeah.
People are coming in left and right buying cars, which is a good thing, but, an empty lot doesn't look as good as a full one.
Yeah.
Sure.
And maybe buying another building soon. Getting another bigger place, so El Cañon can be El Cañon and Ortega's Automotive can be, its own thing. For the club, I know for sure getting a bigger venue is like #1 priority.
Yeah.
Because with a lot of the big bands that my dad wants to bring, they won't come because it's such a small venue.
Yeah.
They'll tell my dad like, yeah, we'll come, and then their agent or whoever will say, okay, well, how many people can you fit in your venue? Like, oh, only 800. Like these guys play stadiums, man. Like,
yeah,
we need more people to come in. So for rodeo, it's definitely getting a bigger venue and bigger bands, and the sky's the limit for the club. Honestly,
yeah.
I'm really excited to see what my family and what they can do with it. I know my dad has like a million things he wants to do to it. He probably wants to open up another rodeo somewhere in Tyler or in Beaumont. But I'm excited to see what all that's going to be about.
Why don't you tell everybody where they can find the club and where they can find the auto used car lot?
So Rodeo Disko is located right in front of Big Lots. I actually don't remember the exact address, but
hold on.
It's on Timberland. It's on Timberland.
But I know for the car lots, it's on 710 Atkinson Drive.
Okay.
We're open Monday through Saturday. Monday to Fridays 10 to 5.
Pass it every day.
Right, yeah. And a lot of our customers say like we pass you guys all the time, and we didn't know that you guys had such great cars.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, we've been here for a while. And
Rodeo Disko is located at 732 South Timberland Drive in Lufkin, Texas, 75901. It's next to China Hibachi, if folks know where that is.
Right, and you can find Rodeo Disko on Facebook too. They have their own page, and that's where a majority of the information is at. Like, they always post like what bands are coming, like what special events they're gonna have, and Ortega's doesn't have any social media yet, but we got something in the works, so we're excited to get that ball rolling on that here pretty soon.
Good deal.
Well, we're looking forward to supporting y'all as you grow and seeing what y'all do for the community.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thanks for coming on, Jose. Tell your family thank you for sharing this story with us and,
sure,
being a part of our little podcast here. And we hope to work together with you guys in the future.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It was super fun.
Well, we hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Let us know in the comments of our social media, and we'll catch you guys next time. Do you have a story to tell? We want to hear it. If you'd like to be a guest on our podcast and share your story, contact us on our website at PaynePoints.com or any of the social media linked on our website. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. We'd appreciate a review, a like, or a comment to let us know what you think. You can find all of our podcasts linked on our website under the podcast tab. Once again, thanks for joining us, and we want to wish everybody a wonderful day.